Hello and welcome to another video. So today we're taking a look at Nep Shadow. Just something a little different. I mean, Nep Shadow is still a pretty good deck. It sits about tier 2 at the moment. Depends on how well you can use the deck, I guess, for the most part. And for me, I'm pretty average with it, so we'll just say that. But you're looking at a pretty solid last word curve, mostly factoring in that you're able to pull the 7-drop every single time off a 4-drop Neps, because Nep will only draw one of each type. So for example, since you're running 2 drops, no matter how many 2 drops you run, you will only ever pull one of them when you're using Nep. Same with the 3s, so on, so on. So you're always guaranteed to pull one of your 2 drops, one of your 3 drops, your 7-drop, and your 8-drop off a Nep. And Nep cannot pull herself, so you don't need to worry about that. As long as you're playing it on empty board, obviously, otherwise it doesn't really matter. So this is more of a control style deck, I guess. That's mainly what you're looking for over everything else. You could of course run more Death's Breath and other cards, but this seems like a really nice combination to run. There's not too much to say. If you've played Shadow decks, you know how most of them function, and other than playing a little slower and trading more, there isn't too much to say for the deck itself. So we'll get right into some games. So as with a lot of the control style decks that I've been playing lately, most of them are a lot slower, so I usually only get about 2 games per video, so hopefully you guys are okay with that. But this first game is reasonably quick, with the second game being a bit longer, which is what you can kind of expect from this deck, is a longer matchup, which if you're into that, this deck's not so bad. So playing against Blood, early pressure is pretty much what you want. Anything in the early game is good. 2, 3 drops, go anywhere you can with them, plan them out, on curve always works pretty well. Like in this case, Legend Corpse is a great card, especially comboed with Demeter and other removal cards, but if you've checked out any of my other Shadow videos, most people would know that by now, that it's just an amazing card for things like that. And of course, you know, you ping 1 damage, Demeter, gives you a couple draws, removes one of these. 50-50 was in my favour this time around, hitting the 2-2, and then I can just soul conversion that for the extra draw to use the rest of my points. No point drawing it out too much, you may as well just use it. So the one thing about a deck like this, which is more aggro orientated for Blood, once you remove their board completely and they have little hand left, usually you've won the game. So this deck does a pretty good job of that with Foul Tempest and Death's Breath, just removing their board effectively. I do make a slight error in my next play. Probably shouldn't have hit the Ambling Wraith with the 1-1. Not the best way to do it, but I really should have just rammed it into the 3-4 on the other side, then used the Soul Squasher to get rid of that anyway. Would have just gave me that 1 extra damage that I might need on the Alice for later on. And of course, just control the board. See, in this case I could have then just evolved the 1-2 and done it that way instead of evolving the 4-4. Thus leaving me with a slightly better board. But mistakes are made, we're only human after all. So we're 4 shadows in. We only need 2 more before Foul Tempest is actually activatable. Well, fortunately Foul Tempest still gets good value. I mean, we remove everything except for the Tove and get to keep our shadows for the Death's Breath. So that play ends up working out okay as well. And the trade here is really beneficial. They're left with literally 1 card in hand, no board, and have to top deck their way to victory. Fortunately for them, Ambling Wraith, I mean, they don't need much to win. 6 damage is pretty easy for a Blood deck to do normally. So I'm banking on these Death's Breath as my wall of defense. My only chance at survival. Fortunately, Goblin Leader, not too much of a threat these days. This guy must be playing some janky version of Blood at the moment. You don't see hardly anyone running Goblin Leader anymore, not in these kind of decks. So we just go for the kind of best trades we can kind of pick up here by keeping as many wards as we can and getting a free Duelist drop. No need to really use Nep. Nep's better on empty or mostly empty board. Although hitting the face here would be good. I wanted to make sure they didn't have the chance of dealing too much damage. Hoping that I don't die in the next turn. Fortunately, they don't draw well, which is good for us. This next game is fairly long. We are first versing Dragon. So it's not too surprising that getting pulled into the late game gives them a slight edge, but we luckily have pretty much everything we're going to need to deal with them. Our starting hand is probably atrocious, you know, 7 and 8 drops are not what you want in your opener. And our mulligan is okay, we've still got an 8 drop, not the best. You really do want some of that early game to mid game cards, not really the late game cards. Fortunately, our double draw is good with the 2 drops. But ramping, as always, Dragon never seems to miss a ramp, especially when I'm playing against them. And Archer, why not? Put something on the board. Worst case, we demonate it. Who cares? Why not? Just got to keep up that kind of tempo play. Just play card, contest the board, hit them in the face. You know, just continually roll out damage. Sybil, pain in the ass. Hate dealing with Sybil. But luckily we have the cards to do it. Not the most elegant of ways, but it does the job. And because we do have double Soul Squasher, playing out a single Soul Squasher is pretty alright. Especially since we do have another Soul Squasher in our hand. And we only need to remove 2 of our followers from their side at this point. Not so bad at all. Our little Soul Squasher does get decent value. And if we want, we can Demon Eater that and draw. I mean, why not? We're going to need some more cards, so take the chance while we got it. Soul Conversion, great card to draw off that, using all our points for maximum draw power. And of course, Dark Dragoon's coming now, so looks like Lyriel's going to give a nice little workout. Lyriel's great for picking off Dragoons, especially if they aren't evolved. We also do all the zombie party, but we may as well save that in case we need it. And we just play out the Elementalist. Why not? I mean, the job is done pretty much here, being able to contest most of their board. Now we only need to worry about the really big threats in things like Genesis, Isabel, those sort of cards. Luckily, we do have the things to deal with that as well. I mean, the little Soul Squasher hits that really hard. They're only going to get 2 damage to our face. And because they have to clear 2 things, Soul Squasher is of course going to get its effect. And Soul Conversion, another more draw power. And we're going into turn 8, which means Nep is going to be playable, so we may as well clear the entire board to guarantee that Underworld Watchman play next turn. Because Dragon is most likely going to drop something big. And they do, another Isabel. Great card to remove. So we get the full Nep value, getting both a Mordecai and our 7 drops. And then everything else doesn't really matter. The extra draw is good, the couple skeletons is good. I mean, you don't really have bad time with Nep in most cases, especially since you are playing most of your early 2-game drops anyway. And your 3-game drop. Fortunately, this Genesis posing a little bit of a problem. I didn't really want to have to deal with it in any other kind of way. So I just decided to throw out the Mordecai, evolve, and ram those couple of Mordecais to face. I mean, there's probably a more elegant way to do it, but this worked. Plus we get to play out the other Mordecai, so double Mordecai value on a deck that probably doesn't run any banishment. It's very unlikely that Dragon is running banishment. So we can pretty much guarantee the 12 damage next turn. And as long as we can survive, we're pretty good. And Desperate makes a great play for survival. I mean, even a Grimnir now still leaves them dead. There's just nothing they can play that would win them the game from here. At least not anything that I can think of outside of some crazy combo. Fortunately, I don't have anything anyway. And so that rounds out the Nep deck. It's not the strongest deck in my opinion, and my testing with it was pretty average. It definitely wasn't the best deck. But if you've got the cards and you want to give it a whirl, why not? The deck list will be in the description below. There's not much I'd probably change in it either. I mean, the Grims are mediocre, I guess. Probably could swap for something. Elemental Necromist is great against aggro, so a 1 of is pretty good. You don't really want more because you don't want to oversaturate the deck. Like I said, you could probably run more Death's Breath. If you're going to swap something out, maybe drop 1 Grim out of Death's Breath. Just have the 1 Grim in case you need it in the late game. Something like that. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, hit that like button and subscribe for more content. And I will catch you guys next time. See ya.